The mid-size FMS Ranger is gonna be one of the top contenders out there for learning how to fly. It's indestructible, seriously.
Don't do it.
The number one reason we're going to start recommending the 1.2 meter Ranger to every new pilot is because you can see how durable it is. It takes impacts really well and just keeps flying. Our buddy Kieran crashed it or slammed it into things at least 6 times while we filmed on floats, and it just did not care.
You just don't care anymore, do you?
I mean, I'm not trying to not care. I like this plane, but it's just...
You sure have a funny way of showing it. I like this plane. What do you do with the ones you hate?
Like I said, it's a tough bird, and this is precisely what makes it so amazing for a beginner pilot. The floats are included, and unlike other floats, they don't break on hard impacts with the water, or at least they didn't with the impacts that we put it through. Durability is going to be one of the most important aspects of a beginner's airframe. The tougher a model is, the heavier it usually is. This one is surprisingly light, resulting in a light wing loading that lets you get away with all sorts of stick smashing and low speed flight that would get you into a spin instantly with less forgiving aircraft. Look at how it stalls here. It almost doesn't unless you put it into a crazy bank angle and load up the wings by pulling the elevator. Airplanes can stall at any airspeed, and it doesn't matter if they're flying slow or fast. Elevator input is the easiest way to break airflow over a wing and cause a stall. But this plane is so forgiving that you'd really have to have absolutely no idea of how an airplane works to really auger it into the ground. We're pretty confident that almost anyone could get some basic instruction with a friend and have an incredible time flying this bird, so long as they understood the basics, like pulling the stick back makes the plane go up and vice versa. It's so gentle and easy to fly in stock configuration that you could basically hand it off to anyone with a basic understanding of flight inside of a big field and not worry too much about it. The FMS Ranger reminds me of the Hobby Zone AeroScout. It's priced similarly and has very similar capabilities. In terms of looks, the Ranger looks like a Cessna, while the AeroScout looks like an AeroScout. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I personally think the AeroScout is one of the ugliest airplanes ever made, but I can't argue that it's an incredibly floaty trainer and is one of the ones that I learned how to fly with. The Ranger is just as floaty, but not quite as agile, which is a good thing for a beginner airframe because it's a lot harder to get into trouble with it. It rolls well, it has a good amount of pitch authority, and it has a decent rudder. Nothing incredible here since it's just a trainer plane designed for limited acro performance. You are supposed to learn how to fly with it, not learn how to crash, even though it does handle crashes really well. You can save the big plane acro for models you move up to as your skill improves, or you can do what we did and move the battery under the wings to get the center of gravity closer to neutral, giving the tail significantly more authority so we could hover it and land it vertically. You don't need to mod it to enjoy some acro with it though. It's more than competent at all basic acro and even some intermediate to slightly advanced maneuvering. You'll quickly learn how to fly or help teach someone how to fly. One area where you'll likely have no problem is landing. Although many pilots struggle with this, you'll probably find it to be a total breeze with the Ranger. And you don't need pavement like we do. In fact, short grass is probably way better, since the stock wheels on pavement sound like a dumpster rolling down 5 flights of stairs. There's not a whole lot of prop clearance, so you'll want to ensure that you fly off short grass, or every one of your takeoffs will sound like a cheap, bang-good electric lawnmower. Landings don't require much. You can almost literally slam the elevator down fully to hold the nose up and land it like that. That's bad form though, so we'd recommend coming in with a shallow approach, meaning that the plane is no more than a few meters off the ground, or if you're in America and you listen to Freedom units, no more than 15 to 20 feet up in the air. You can hold a very tiny amount of throttle to glide it in, but otherwise we'd recommend landing with no thrust because of how floaty it is. You have a hard time landing in the same spot every time if you hold power on the approach. Floaty wings tend to fly forever on minimal throttle, and the Ranger is no exception. While you're on the ground, just be careful to avoid steering too much with rudder. It can, and will, tip over easily due to a narrow wheelbase. It's durable, but you'll scuff up the finish, so maybe don't do that. But if you do that, some foam filler linked in the description can get it back to near new again with a slight coating of CA glue to give it a smooth finish. FMS asked me to buy some Shutterbombs and toss them on the Ranger, so that's what I did. So while the Ranger isn't fireproof and definitely isn't advertised as such, it damn near felt like it with how long it withstood the heat of the smoke bomb while I rushed and screwed up getting it in the air on time. Of course, parts came off because I made stupid mistakes, but this plane isn't just a trainer for flying. In this case, it was a solid trainer for me to learn how to get smoke bombs up in the sky without causing a fire on the ground. It handled the minimal wing loading of the Shutterbomb without even a care, and having an electric plane with smoke is something awesome that I think we'll keep doing in the future. It's nice when you can add wing loading to a model without worrying about it too much. While it's true that flying it at a moderate airspeed would mean that load would be harder to notice as opposed to flying it in really confined areas, it's still great to be able to do it at all with a trainer.
So this is what happens when you leave a smoke grenade attached for too long and you don't immediately throttle up. You burn a hole in the bottom. Although that is the hole where the rudder for the water rudder goes, so it actually made it a little easier to put it in there if we go water flying with it.
FMSHobby has it for sale for $209.99 right now, or you can get the Ranger for 10% off using the code referral TwoBrosRC if it's your first order. Or TwoBrosRC for $10 off any order anytime over $100. It's durable, it's fast, it's cheap, and it's fun. And there's not a whole lot else you can really ask for from a trainer, and for that reason it earns a solid 9 out of 10 from us. And it would be a solid 10 out of 10 if it didn't sound like a freight train on pavement. Thanks for watching, and let us know what you think in the comments. And if you strap a Shutterbomb to your Ranger and send us the footage on Discord, we'll send you a TwoBrosRC sticker of your choice. See you guys next time with a new upload.